Oh,
Oh, sorry, did I shock you?
you sure did.
And here we go again.
For years, Feminist Frequency has created videos that examine what too often goes unexamined.
Yeah, utterly irrelevant nonsense, like
Kitty,
the
for
polygon
instance, where players'
variations
gaze
of
is drawn to
arses.
Catwoman's
What an
behind,
amazing
which is
fucking
emphasized by her
examination to
costume
make.
and exaggerated
That's
hairspray.
about as relevant as counting the number of dust particles on an average wood ant. Now, in fact, that might actually be more relevant and better because it would be based on facts. Your shit has proven countless times to be full of contradictions and outright falsehoods.
The way women are portrayed in media, and how that both reflects and shapes our ideas about women in real life.
No! For example, you literally spent the last video complaining about someone's ass. But fuck it, let's get to the point. During the past months, I noticed that going against the game industry and gamers is a losing battle, since the opposition has grown too big. So unlike that loser, Brianna Wu... am I relevant? I chose a new battleground which will be the rewriting of history, hoping that I may find less fierce opposition. You know, if you have ever lurked around a history forum on the internet, one thing you will notice soon enough is that historians take their shit really serious. Make one false assumption or one false baseless claim or something else, or even just post a wrong date or year, and they will eat you alive for it. History isn't gaming, it's an actual academic field where real research matters, not nonsense like staring at arses. So in a way I'm looking forward to your ridiculous series because your consistent dishonesty is merely bound to create you more enemies.
Although each of them is extraordinary, they can help us reimagine the world as a place where women doing revolutionary things isn't incredible at all.
What the fuck do you mean with reimagining history?
It's just normal.
What? If I reimagine history, the Imperial Stormtrooper invasion of Russia in 1812 also becomes normal and ordinary. Yeah, but it isn't fucking history anymore.
That's why we call them...
What we call them? Fucking hell, your ideology doesn't give you the right to redefine words, let alone redefine them within the context of history.
ordinary women daring to defy history.
So let me try to get this straight. You believe that history, or at least a written record of history, has been biased against women, and therefore the extraordinary women who stand out in the historical record have to be seen as the normal, ordinary women of that time? Don't you think that this would diminish their accomplishments? I wonder if this includes people such as Irma Grese, also known as the Hyena of Auschwitz, a sadistic guard at the Auschwitz women's camp. She was known, for example, to have brutally beaten women to death who she thought were more attractive than her. After all, you apparently believe that for some weirdish ideological bullshit reason, it is the extraordinary women, the women who stand out in the history books, who define what is normal for women throughout history. So is she representative for all the ordinary women during that time period? Anyway, show us your first example.
Jing Shi started out working in a brothel and ended up as the feared commander of one of the largest pirate fleets in history.
And this is really fucking interesting. You see, Jing Shi lived in one of the most tumultuous times in Chinese history. The British flooded China with cheap opium from India, thereby wrecking Chinese society and its economy. Anyone with some knowledge about Asian history will know of the Opium Wars, which eventually ended with the British going to war with China, and in the long term China being carved up amongst the world's imperial powers. The Chinese see this period of history as a great humiliation. One of the reasons why China has so strict laws against drugs is because their nation was once brought to the knees and eventually made a colonial subject because of drugs. And I compared the Wikipedia articles on Qingxi, both the German one and the English one. And what I found really interesting is that the German article clearly mentions that she was involved in that opium trade. But the English article, which supposedly is more detailed, doesn't mention that at all. And this, to me, smells like something that we here call a Halbwahrheit, which in English would be a half-truth, when you deliberately leave out facts out of your presentation because they might disprove your claim. When talking about history, you can change the way it is perceived completely by simply leaving out a few facts that you think might disrupt your narrative. So as Sarkeesian continues this series, I implore you, my dear viewer, to not just look for what might be outright untrue, but for inconvenient facts that might conveniently be missing from the story.
Each of them was surrounded by cultural messages that said women had to be small, quiet, and submissive in order to be good. But they spoke up for themselves, often at the cost of harassment, slander, racism, and even death threats.
Are you trying to draw some weird parallel with yourself? Fucking hell, I guess this is what happens when people reinterpret history to fit their narratives. And if you are really drawing parallels with yourself, you must be living in a pretty fucking tight-knit bubble to already consider yourself to be a historical figure. But fundamentally, let's get down to what annoys most people about this bullshit.
We've already invested $20,000 and a lot of effort from our team to lay the groundwork for the first season of Ordinary Women.
Let me get straight to the core. $20,000 is a shitload of money. For people on the lower income end, that might be all that they make in a year. And the way you fucking talk about it, we just spent 20,000 euros for the production of a few YouTube videos, that really seems to be what pisses most people off about this. You know, I used to work a 70-hour work week. I have a subscriber who told me in a conversation that she currently works a 70 work-hour week. Most people may have around 4,000 to 5,000 euros on their accounts. If they ever are confronted with the number 20,000 in terms of currency, it usually comes in the form of debt. When I first watched this shit video, I literally grabbed my wallet and took a look inside it to see how much I had in it in cash. 27 euros and 43 cents. And I picked out that 20 euro bill and stared at it for a while, thinking to myself, you know, this here is a thousandth of what Sarkeesian spent on merely setting up something that we already know is going to be crap. If I invest those 20 euros into a video made by myself, how high would its output be? How entertaining would people think it would be? Could I, with 20 euros, make a video that might be more entertaining, more interesting than any of your videos? So I went to my local Aldi, spent the 20 euros, and this is what I ended up making. I leave it to you to judge if that was worth my money, but fundamentally, despite already proclaiming to have spent 20,000 euros, an amount of cash that most of us mere mortals can't even dream of ever having available so freely, and which, by the way, is merely her speaking fee as far as I know, she continues to demand 200,000 dollars. Oh yeah, we're speaking of dollars, not euros. I almost forgot. Although, admittedly, things fortunately don't seem to be going all her way. So instead of rambling on, I will politely ask you to donate money to the Amazing Atheists Project, where your money would be used for a far better purpose. 20 of my euros went that way already, and I am happy to see it grow. I will leave a link to it in the description.